Faded Polaroid sits proudly in my grasp. Its plain old little frame has aged far past the age that it would be replaced. But there are no picture frames in space. I saw the most beautiful sight. I came up to Saturn's rings and flew right on by the side. I don't want to sound too saccharine, but I couldn't help but be reminded of your eyes. You know I always try. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you. Galaxies all around me, they all glitter with a passion. They say, hold on boy, one day you'll be back home. I lay surrounded in black sky, lost for all eternity, but time still moves on by. The brilliant comet's tails are still so gallantly bright, I could cry. There's no place to wipe my eyes. The vessel I reside in isn't fixed. These walls I swore were parallel now skew aside like this. But perhaps I might be seeing things. I've been alone so long I can't be sure. You would tell me what's wrong. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you. Galaxies all around me, they all glitter with a passion. They say, hold on boy, one day you'll be back home. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you. Galaxies all around me, they all glitter with a passion. They say, hold on boy, one day you'll be back home. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you. Galaxies all around me, they all glitter with a passion. They say, hold on boy, one day you'll be back home. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you. Galaxies all around me, they all glitter with a passion. They say, hold on boy, one day you'll be back home. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you. Galaxies all around me, they all glitter with a passion. They say, hold on boy, one day you'll be back home. When each star looks just like the next, it all just feels so blue. All these light years that I travel, I still travel without you. Galaxies all around me, they all glitter with a passion. They say, hold on boy, one day you'll be back home.
How's that? Oh my god. The frick? Face. Yeah. Oh my god. It's all the way down and I'm still so short. What? How is it? Ursula's just set it to Ursula settings. She's wiggled things around. There's plenty of room for her head to move up, not mine. How's everyone doing? Hello, Okay. I'm sorry, guys. Serena's not sorry. You like my shirt? Thank you. Oh, right. It's the cat. Nothing special. Just a regular cat. There's so many buttons. Gotta open up things and look at them. I prepared. I swear. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. And then I just gotta open up a Z's. There we go. I will pull that out so it's not showable. Okay, how am I? I'm doing good. Doggo is just excited. She was yelling at other Doggo because she was like, it's playtime. Let's throw down, kids." Other kid. I say I'm doing good, but I'm actually feeling sick today. But I only have 2 to critique, so I might as well get it done today. I've been doing so well. I've been playing Pikmin thing, the Pokemon Pikmin Go, whatever that's called. Yeah, that one. So I've been getting steps in. Yeah. Can you stop that from occurring? She can chew on the bone later. It's just very loud.
Oh, okay.
It's loud and yeah. I gotta do some schoolwork first, then I shall work on my comic pages. Well, that's good. Okay, so AZ has to leave, so I should talk now. So today is the critique stream. If you want stuff critiqued, you have to become a patron at the critique tier, and then whammo bammo, we'll judge you. Pay to be judged. Today I read, so today's the long form critique, so it's stuff I had to read up in advance. So I read a script by AZ, and that is what I'm going to talk about now. I keep saying AZ, AZ. Okay, so this is the second draft, right? I'm excited to read a draft 2. It's crazy that I got through the whole draft 1. Back with a brand new draft. I know. And it was enjoyable to read all that. I'm having a brain moment here. I actually didn't finish the first draft, but I didn't like the ending. I think the ending was going to work. I mean, it's fair. That's finished, kind of, in a way. it's hard to like I guess I can't really comment on like how it's changed too much because I haven't really refreshed myself, which is good. Um, I guess. So I'm getting like a whole new opinion on it. But I also have a lot of like pre-baked knowledge, which I guess will change how I view things a little bit. For better or for worse. I'm trying to think of my list of positives first, and I'm just coming up with very little, even though I'm mostly positive about things. It's just harder for me to articulate good things. I tried to flesh out a bit more characterization. Yes. Yeah, there you go. I do like that how it is fleshed out. I feel like we are getting into the characters a lot more earlier on. And it was like more meandering, I think, the first time through. Like I guess less direction, which makes sense. And I liked that a lot of the characterization stuff was a lot stronger at the beginning, I think, than previously as well. You definitely got more of like a handle on their personalities, which I think is good. Character interactions. Yeah, because I liked all of the scenes. I like how they're constructed. It was a bit slower before, but I'm trying to streamline it more. Yeah, like I can definitely get the sense of that. It does feel like it's very like digging into things. And I do like that we're getting into like a lot of like the plot stuff and building that stuff up earlier on. I like that. I meant to send the second half of the chapter, but I didn't have time this month. That's fine. I guess, yeah, like I think you're doing all of that stuff really good. I think my main critique about this, is, can you put her in the basement, please? Sure. Oh no, someone's getting banned to the basement kennel. Oh no. Right. Back on track. I think the main thing I think I liked all these scenes. I think they were a little too not fast because they were very well paced. Even though like they're not complete, like I can see how like the pacing would play out even in like the parts where you truncated. I think it might be there's just like a lot going on. Not even entirely. You know what? I think I would describe it as like I think the tensions feel like a little too raised right out the gate. And I think if like I wouldn't spend too much time like meandering like the first one, but I do think we need a little a little time before digging into like these really major plot issues. I guess there's enough downtime in between. Like it might be that. It also might be like having come off of just writing like the ending bits, I think you might be like at the end of each of these scenes, or as like the major conflict of these scenes, they end at a very like high point of tension before we're getting into like the inciting incident section yet. I don't know if I'm making any sense with this. Um I think it's just like things got a little too heated, and based on like kind of what I know about the story, I think it might be turning up the heat too much too early, where you might run into like the issue of trying to like outdo yourself more, trying to be more expensive, like giving the opening a hook for the readers. Yeah, yeah, that's yeah. Like I could tell that there was like searching for the hook, and I always struggle with this too. Um, so maybe this is all good, and this is just me like projecting my own issue. Um, because I think you can be intriguing and have a hook and like keep a lot of these elements, but I think it's like the more in-depth character tensions and stuff that might need more time to build, if that makes sense. The note, I'm worrying about outdoing myself as it goes on. Oh, I like the note. I'll keep note because I don't want to get intense, because I want a tone and mood to be subdued. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm getting a sense of, is like these feel like build up to like very big plot events, or like large tension points, plot shifting energy, big big story energy, movement, tension, blah 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 moments, whereas like you have like it's been like a more subdued story. So I feel like opening on these scenes like is setting up for like a lot of drama. Yeah, but I do think they're very good scenes, and like they're good characterizations and things. um I think I just like might either tone them down or bring stuff in before then. Yeah. Or also like you can bring in these points of tension in the relationships without them coming to a head immediately, if that makes sense. Because you could, like hypothetically, like with Gil and Rory, you could bring up that point of tension without it becoming like a big argument. I think it also is just like we're starting the scene introducing Gil as a character, but then you're also introducing this large like dynamic between him and Rory at the same time. Yeah, which kind of like gives this vibe of like that being the main thing. Since the plot is more down to earth and not like a big explosions crime drama, I don't want it to get away from itself and set the readers up for something it isn't. Space out the tension a bit. I want to have mystique and intrigue. Yeah, yeah. Because I think you have a lot of that to work with. And I think like these scenes are really good, and like coming in with my knowledge, like all of this knowledge that I already know about the story, and coming in, like it's really cool to see how these have changed. And I found like I don't have the right word on the top of my head, but I liked how the dialogue played and like the characters interacted a lot, and I liked how the tension was raised. And I think that was all like a really good job. But like we need the rest of the story around it basically to make it still have that good vibe. I guess. Do you have any like questions to ask? Because I think that was the main thing that I got from it. Ba-ba-ba. I'm just bopping to this bop and beep. That's great. Awesome. Okay. I will speedy quick. Yeah, it's great to have you back. I like reading things every month. It's been a little dry, which makes sense because like the holidays happened, the time of rest and drama and taxes. Wait, no, people do taxes later. I'm just a nut. Okay. Next one I'm looking at, Ursula should have open. Wait a minute. If I go into this and I go into critique, whoa, guys, I did it. Now where is that? And why did the music stop? Oh, it's just a really quiet song. Okay. All right. Oh, it's coming together, guys. Oh, I got it. Okay, Nat. So this is a continuation of the last thing that I read. And you were saying that it could like address some of the concerns I had. Oh my god, did it do it again? Sorry, I need to quickly read a few pages here because my stupid reader didn't upload everything. Or maybe I just forgot. I'm sick. I know, it's all falling apart. I don't know. I have to look at the script. I'm sorry. Ugh. I hate when my reader does that. It sometimes is a butt like that. But I should be able to figure out what's going on really quick and formulate ideas. Cause I read most of it. It's just like the last few pages. For some reason, didn't open for me. Okay, yeah. Alright, no, I didn't miss too much. Okay. So, as far as like addressing the thing that I talked about last time, I think it largely does. Like, I do like how you up the tension with it. And gave there a good reason to both have her win but also lose. I think that was a really good ending to it. I guess like the only thing I would say in terms of that would maybe to be just add like a slight foreshadowing, unless I just missed the foreshadowing, which is also possible because you know there's a month between reading the two sections. You might have if you foreshadowed, you did a great job. I just all I mean is just foreshadowing that like there's like some wavering or some tension. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm sorry, but I think I really like this as an answer to my question. I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's really good. And I like that it leads into further plot going forward, and I like the tension that it causes for oh my god, Orla, I think. I like that it challenges her because her friend is injured. Like I think that's really good. I think it works on like all fronts. It works for her character arc. It works for adding a purpose to the scene. And it works for the interpersonal arc between the two friends slash antagonists slash, you know. Yeah, and I like the setup for the next thing and the disadvantage that she will be at. And this page is cool. Do you have specific questions for me other than that? Because, yeah, I think it comes together very nicely. So let me vibe to this boppin' beat. Okay, I got Pikmin, but I also got, like, every other walking game aside from Pokemon Go. Oh, they got me a thing. They found me a seed pod. Wait, no, guys. Oh my god, they have so much fruit. How do I know that? How does this? I don't understand. How did their leaves grow back? What causes that? How did they obtain fruit? They have so many questions. Because now they all suddenly have their leaves back. Like, what did I do to cause that? God, answer me. Oh, Nat has stuff. Oh, the chat's laggy. Let me show. Oh, okay. That was my main question. Okay. Alright, we're good then. I'll send Ursula in. Thank you for dealing with me, guys. Oh.
My poor guy. Hello. Well, hello. Hi, friends. My goodness. Hello. How are we? This month like snuck up on me. I was not prepared for this. I am. I read all the things, but my brain was like, no, it's not the end of March. It can't be. No.
It ends on a Thursday. That's always hard.
Yeah. It ends on a Friday. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Aw. Thank you for joining us live. I hope you're doing well too. There you go. It's lagging a bit. Okay. Okay. I will tell you my thoughts now. Oh man, what is streaming? Can't believe we used to do this all the time. Okay. I agree with what Bones said. Yeah. I was reading through it and I got to the bit where the next section is like announced for the competition. I was like, oh dang. Oh no. It was very dramatic. It's a good setup for a good challenge. Yeah, and I like the bit where she's recovering and Orla comes in. It's good. It's good stuff. The faster March is over, the sooner I can see my new sister's baby. Oh! Congrats to your sister and your family. That's awesome. Okay. But yeah, I agree with Bones about the story stuff. It was very compelling. My main concern is that the story is interesting to read. It is. It's good. It's very well paced, and there's always like stakes being raised. Okay. On the art side, overall, I think everything was really solid. Again, your paneling's always great. Your character expressions and stuff, like it was all told really well. There was one part where I thought the order of information was a little confusing. So it's right here where Allie starts to faint, where her reporter friend is talking, and then she like notices that Allie is not looking good. So yeah, we get the information where she's excited. She's like, wait a minute, something's wrong. And then she's like, no. And then we see Alia, like looking woozy. And then the next page she falls. I think because I don't think there's anything wrong with having it show her friend's reaction before we see what's going on with her, because it does create like it does show that like shift in tone to like the new event, right? Like it's a good transition. I think. And I understand what you're doing where you have the speech bubble overlapping the panel of her face looking woozy, where it says she's going to go to the next stage. I think it's just the order of things, because I do like how at the same time she's announcing this and then notices the problem, we're also seeing the problem. But I think because we have the top layer of panels and then we have the bottom panel, I think it disrupts the flow of what you're doing, because my brain reads these top three and then looks down and sees the speech bubble and what's happening to Alia. So I think I think these panels maybe need to be shifted around a little bit. Just to show them happening simultaneously, because currently the way the panels are set up, it feels very like sequential instead of simultaneous, if that makes sense. Yeah, and then after that, everything's good. And yeah, and I think you could do that by shifting these panels around a little bit, or maybe having this reaction of Allie taking up more space, or even less space and being overlapped by the other panels, or shifting where the dialogue bubble is. It's hard to say. You'd have to play around and see what works. And the only other thing I was a little confused about, it might be more clear once these sketches are more filled out. I was a little confused by is there a scene transition here, or are they still standing at the podium? I think that's what I'm confused by. What I'm confused by is we see the lady standing here to take Alia's stuff, whereas I don't see her on the podium. She's supposed to still be at the podium. Okay, I think it'll be more clear once you do your like the finished artwork here, where I was just confused about where this lady is in relation to Alia. Yeah, I think that's it. I think because you do have a setup panel where we see the stadium and the podium, and we see Alia standing there with another participant. Yeah, I think we're just missing that setup of this lady, where she is in relationship to them. But like everything else, like all the, like I love the like singling out Allie and getting that like making her feel very isolated as she faces like her worst fear. And I like the framing of her looming over Allie. I think that's great. Yeah, I think that's it. I think those are my 2 nitpicks. Did you have any questions or anything you were like struggling with on the visual side? Always worried about the fight scenes? I think you do great fight scenes. I think you do a very good job with like blocking and tracking things. How easy is it to follow the action? I think it's very easy. Because yeah, I really like when you do this sort of thing where you'll have like the action progressing within one panel. Like that's very helpful in action scenes to show very fast changes within one area. So like this panel here is great, for example. Yeah, and you're very consistent with how you place your characters we're never like flipping the camera around, so I can't tell where everyone is. I think you're very like deliberate about where you're placing people, so I'm never confused about like how did she get over there. It's always very clear of kind of where people are and how they got there. Yeah. I think it's good you're thinking about it and making sure that it's like on your radar, but I think you're doing a great job with it. Yeah. Any notes on the story so far? I'm really enjoying it. I know that's more Bones' area. I'm really enjoying it. I feel like you've really done a lot of good setup for where things are going right now. With Alia's arc, I'm very curious about how she's gonna handle this next event, because it has definitely been set up that she really likes her tools that she uses. Whereas I know like the other characters have more like, I guess, like natural magic stuff that comes to them, where she uses inventions. And I'm really enjoying the tension growing between the friends, where like there has been hurt between them, and obviously like Orla and Alia are still mad at each other. But I do like how there's still hints that they're like, they still care about each other. It's very nice. It's very sweet, where it's like, oh my god, just make up, be friends. But like, I know they can't, because like it's the better story, and obviously like it doesn't get fixed overnight. But yeah, but and it feels very character driven, where I can understand why they are fighting and why they feel the way they feel, and why, like, you know, Orla seems like a very stubborn character, and you know, she's not gonna she's kind and sweet, but is also stubborn, and I can understand why, like, she's not making up quite yet. It's good. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I did literally, when I was reading that last bit about the next competition, I was like, oh damn. I was like, oh no. Because I felt the same way Bones did in the last one, where I was like, man, she's just like running through this like competition with like she's just like killing it. And then I was like, oh, a challenge. Yeah, you're doing great. Yeah. Did you have any other questions? Okay.
Why is it smoky?
One's is telling me something is burning in the oven, so we better watch out. No, thank you. Awesome. Well, thank you for submitting. All right. We have Kuroe and BattleBox. So which one of you wants to fight to go next? Are you critiquing viewer-submitted webcomics? We are. The dealio is, though, that we get these in advance. We do it monthly. So if you did submit something, we wouldn't be able to look at it for this stream. And the other catch is that it is run through our Patreon. So if you would be interested in getting your stuff critiqued, because we do more than just comic critique, but obviously we do that. We can do like character designs. We could do like prose writing, like you know, if you're writing a novel or a short story. But anyways, yeah, we can look at it, and the link to our Patreon should be in the description if you're interested. Kuroe, you're here? All right. Let's do it. Okay. So, yeah. I'm also here. Oh, dang. You were just like a little bit too late. I'm sorry, BattleBox. You can go last. Okay. So, Kuroe, my friend. Right. So you were looking for just general critique. So this is the first episode of your murder mystery comic. What kind of offer... Sorry, oh my gosh, I can't read. What... Oh my god. I really can't read. Very kind to offer critiques. Oh, well. Critiques are good. Sometimes it can be really hard to find people to get eyes on your stuff, depending where you are. So yeah, so I'm happy we can help people. I hope our advice is helpful and not useless. All right. All according to plan. All right, Kuroe. So yeah, so this is the first episode. Okay. So, I really enjoyed the opening. I think with your colors, and the inciting incident, and oh my god, not inciting incident. What are they called? Words elude me. The setup panel. What is it called? Where you show like the scene, the opening scene to your story. What is it called? My brain just says inciting incident. Establishing. Your establishing shot. Where you're setting up a very like moody atmosphere. Establishing shot, yes. Thank you. Yeah, where it's very moody. I really like the contrast of like the bright yellow on the, you know, the dark blue and gray background. And yeah, and from what I've seen of the pages that you have colored, like you're doing a good job with having your characters stand out against the backgrounds, which is awesome. Okay, so one piece of trouble I've run into with reading this was I found, through some of the sketches, I found it hard to differentiate characters. I think that is a problem of them being sketches, where once you have everything kind of lined and colored, I think I'll have a better time telling characters apart. But that being said, I did find a lot of it confusing, and I think there's a few reasons to why I found it confusing. You're introducing a lot in these first couple scenes in this first chapter. It's a lot of characters, because we have this main detective, we have Riley Owner, we have Alex Frond, we have Fester Pheasant, we have the victim of the murder, who is Lucien, I believe. And then we have Lucien's brother. And then we have another detective who I didn't catch the name of, but at least I think it's another detective where she falls asleep. Or was that our main detective? But anyways, it was a lot of characters. And I found it hard to keep track of them all. Where I think if you slowed down your pacing, it would be a lot easier to follow what's going on. That's Riley who falls asleep? Okay, then I think it was just a problem with the sketch, where me not understanding who is who. Okay, so never mind. But anyways, it is... She just got her glasses on. And her hair is longer. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so that is Riley. For some reason, I think just because you drew her hair shorter, I thought it was a different character. And I was like, whoa, there's another detective. Okay. But okay, so that was on me. But yeah, but I still think it is paced very quickly. where I think when you start, you could very easily do some building up with Riley and Alex, because you have a great dynamic there where Riley is very deadpan and serious and like tougher than everyone else. Oh, it's from an older design. Okay. Okay, so that makes sense. But anyway, so you have this great dynamic between Alex and Riley, where Alex seems more green, more new to the detective stuff, where they see a body and throw up. Where Riley seems a lot more experienced and jaded to the whole thing. But anyways, you could have a very good dynamic here, where Riley is very stoic and serious and makes fun of Alex for being a weenie kind of thing. I know this is more of like a lighthearted kind of comedy thing, even though there's like murder. It's a murder story. But there's definitely comedy elements. Where I found also introducing Fester, it seemed like I think it just got confusing, because I understand bringing in like the brother, the witness who knew the victim, like bringing them in and doing an interview, like that's a good starting point to like this murder investigation. But I think it's still very fast paced, because we only get a very quick look at like the body. I mean, not that we need like an intense, like detailed look at the victim and stuff, but a lot of dog toys are, yes, they're all based off dog toys, right? I did appreciate that when Alex throws up, it's like it looks like confetti or something. I thought that was cute. But anyways, yeah, so I think you need to take a bit more time between each scene, because it moves so quick, where like we barely get a glimpse at like the crime scene and what's going on. And you know, if we're building up a mystery, we probably want to like find details that the audience can like clue together. Maybe have the characters like speculate on like what happened. Because like obviously when they're at the scene, they might you know, Alex says the cause of death is unknown, but I don't know, we could lay out like when it happened, who the witness was. I don't know, I feel like it just goes by really quick, because like a page later we have the brother showing up, and then we go straight into that like questioning. Yeah, so it moves very, very fast. I'm trying not to let the comic get so long, so I have to rush the story a bit. We'll need to fix that. That is true, because the thing is too, like, I'm reading this without having the whole story, so maybe like this pacing works. For the story, there was no witness. Yeah, I think in that case, I think you have the building blocks. I think I just want a bit more lingering on the crime scene to get a better sense of like what happened. Because hopefully, yeah, if you just add a few more panels kind of detailing like the area and the victim and stuff, that might help. Because yeah, it just felt very skimmed over before we jump into the brother questioning at the police station. Okay, but I did like the introduction of the why Riley is so sleepy because of the children. I thought that was funny. Okay, so the other thing I would warn you about, so there's places where you're doing a really great job with like setting the scene. Like I said, I really like this opening bit where we show like the city and the lights and then the police tape, and then we're introduced to our main character and like the crime. Like, that's great. This is such a good opening. And there's places later where you're showing like, you know, we go to the police station, we get like an exterior shot. And other places, like when Riley is going home, we see like the streets, etc. And we get some nice interior shots, and that's great. And I think there's also lots of places where like you've paced the comedy stuff well. Like, I really like the bit about the plane ride and the demon children. I thought that was paced really well. But I think there are also places where we're missing some of that background information. I need to decide the towns, that might help. Yeah, definitely. Like, just understanding your scenery. But yeah, where I find, for example, like the second page, every single panel, the characters are on their own. And that makes sense for some panels. For example, like if you are introducing a character, same to like how you introduce Riley, where she's on her own. That works fine. And same with, say, introducing Fester here. But each panel, the character is on their own. There's no interaction between them. We don't get a good sense of like the scenery around them. Like, for example, with this scene, you could say like, when Alex is like puking, you could show like Fester and Riley like looking back at him and, you know, looking like, oh my god, stop ruining our crime scene by barfing everywhere. But yeah, but I think things feel a little bit empty, and even though you have your characters in different poses and angles, like it helps to have a mix of like panels where characters are all together, panels like even in the middle of the scene, not just the establishing shot, just showing where characters are in relationship to each other, showing the scenery, just to get a very good sense of like where everything is. It makes the scene feel more full and understandable. And yeah, and I think, and I'd warn you about that with the rest of the scenes, where I feel like, don't get me wrong, there's still panels where you do a good job showing like multiple characters together. I think I just want to see more of it throughout. Your backgrounds and interaction were sparse. Yes. But yeah. I think that would be my advice. Be careful of your panels becoming too similar, only having one character in them. Make sure you're like, I'd like to see the way you treated this like opening scene. This opening like couple pages. Like, I'd love to see that same kind of treatment throughout, where like you're keeping up the kind of dramatics, I guess, if that makes sense. Because you do it so well. I'm like, I want to see it more. But yeah, I think that's it. Did you have any questions? Was there anything you were wondering about, or like anything I didn't cover there? I'm currently studying characters' interaction or near each other. That's good. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like good places to like look at stuff. Yeah, because I think it just having, like, obviously not every panel, but adding more panels in where you have multiple characters together and interacting, it can give a very different tone to like a certain panel. So for example, like the one I keep thinking about is like where Alex is puking, where like if in the foreground you had the other officers like giving him the stink eye, even if it was just them in silhouette, like I think it would add a bit more comedy to the moment, if that makes sense. And it's also a good rule of thumb that even when characters are just speaking to each other, so like even if it's literally just characters having a conversation like back and forth, and like at the bare bones all you would need to show is like, I don't know, shot reverse shot just showing the characters back and forth. It's more visually interesting to have them doing something while they talk. Or even if it's something as simple as like I'm trying to think of like a good example is like, even if they're, you know, one character is making dinner while the other person is like standing at the doorway. Like you can say a lot with what they are doing during a conversation. It's a common piece of advice for like talking head scenes in just like prose writing, like a novel. Like if you have a scene where characters are, you could write it where they're just sitting at a table and talking, but it's more interesting to like have them doing something, even if it's something that's not like super plot relevant. Yeah. So yeah, I think a good exercise would to be choose something like what, while they're talking, what's something they could be doing. So like for example with this opening crime scene stuff, there's lots they could be doing where like you know, because they need to like look over pieces of evidence, or maybe someone lights up a cigarette. I don't know. I don't know, gritty cop stuff, you know. Or like Alex, while he's puking, drops all his papers and needs to pick them up. You know, there's lots of like little things you could do there. Give them things to fidget with? Yes, exactly. Just because it adds more visual interest. Yeah, that would be my advice. Did you have any questions? Oh, if the ending is good enough cliffhanger to keep reading, or should I keep the identity a secret? That I'm not sure. That depends on what you want to do with your story, because I think the way to look at it is like, are you creating mystery or suspense? Because the classic one is like the Hitchcock quote where the mystery is when there's like a bomb under the table and the reader doesn't know about it. And suspense is when there's a bomb under the table and the reader knows about it, but the characters don't. So I think of it like that. So like chaos and comedy. But even then, a comedy can have a mystery to it, or it can have like suspense, because you're dealing with like a story about a murder mystery or a murder, whatever. Where the question is like, for the story, do you want it to be they are finding clues to discover the identity of the killer? Or are you having something where we know who the killer is and we're seeing kind of that interplay of like them trying to catch the killer.
This is a reminder. Put the bird to bed.
Yeah, so I think you just need to decide, like, what you want to do with the story. Is it more fun for your story to, we know who the killer is and we're watching the detective not know who it is and we're seeing, like, both sides of the story and kind of this cat and mouse thing? Or do you want it to be, as the story goes on, we're finding clues to discover who the killer is? Yeah, I think, because, yeah. If you want to go for the suspense, then I think that last bit where you reveal who the killer is works, where we then like know who they are and we can see where they show up and be like, oh no, that's them, or I don't know. But if you're going for mystery, then yeah, I would keep them hidden. Yeah. Depends on what you want to do. Because if you wanted it to be mystery, you could show just their silhouette or, like, I don't know, a pair of shoes they're wearing. And then the next time we see those shoes, we'll be like, is that the killer? That was all helpful? No problem. Cool. So, if you... if that is... Sorry, I should ask. I'm gonna go to sleep now. Okay, I was gonna ask if you had any other questions, but no. So, go enjoy your sleep. Thanks for submitting. What did you say, Bone?
I said I'll allow.
Oh, okay, Bone says you can go to bed. He's allowing it. So, you're good. Alright, BattleBox, where are ya? Where are ya? Bones is making dinner, and because he spoke, all the animals came running. They're like, oh, Dad has food? Hello? Mwahaha. Hello. Okay. Alright, so I read it in order this time. I hope you're proud of me. I paid attention to the chapter titles. Okay. So, right. So you said you changed chapter 3 and 4 based on some of the comments I had last time. And I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, but anyways, yeah, I liked the pacing of this more, where yeah, because I remember we had the scene of the cross-dressing character coming back and doing some fighting. But that's been cut to more focus on Eve and oh shoot, what's the love interest's name? Oh no, what's his name? Starts with a D. I'm looking for it. I'm like, I don't know. But anyways, love interest. But yeah, more focus on Eve, Eve's personality, and the love interest. And setting that up. Die, that's it. Okay. Yeah. So I enjoyed it a lot. It felt a lot more cohesive for what you're going for. And obviously you can sprinkle in more, you know, setting up this other character that Eve saves at the movie theater. You can set up them more. And yeah, I think, yeah. Oh, okay. So for chapter 4, I liked some of the setup of, I really like this bit where we see Eve walking and we see the car reflection and the little glasses eyes. I thought that was nice. I thought that was a nice little setup touch where you're like, who is that? It's good. I thought that was a nice touch. My one change that I might offer for chapter 4 is to... Sorry, my earring is bothering me. It's getting squished by my headphones. But anyways, yeah, the one thing I would offer to change for chapter 4 is I feel like this scene, this last scene of Eve chilling out with a beer at home, gets cut short. I understand the, like, I understand from a pacing standpoint kind of why you decided on that, but I think I would recommend taking the first scene in chapter 5 and moving it back to chapter 4. So like chapter 4 may be like a little bit longer. I don't know if you're doing like a set amount of pages for these, but I would recommend, I think it ties up the end of this chapter well. And I think splitting this scene doesn't make a whole lot of pacing sense, because it picks up immediately. Or like, yeah, we see Eve relaxing with the beer, and then we get kind of more information and kind of like we get Eve to like reflect on like his experience and stuff, and we learn more about Eve's like living situation. But anyway, so yeah, so I would move this scene into chapter 4 and kind of end with it, because it ends well. Like I like the sentiment of leaving off with Eve thinking like, when was the last time I had a decent meal? And then falling asleep, and then we start with like him waking up the next day. I also think like it's a nice reflective scene, especially thinking about like Dai's intense look. But yeah, there's a concept of scenes and scene sequels. Bones could probably talk a lot more about this in greater detail, but it helps. It's a good tip pacing wise, where when you have a scene where like a lot happens, you'll have like, for example, like the interview between Dai and Eve, like this is their meet cute, where a lot of information is passed, and then that scene wraps up, and then you'll have a scene following that where the character will reflect on kind of everything that happened, and it kind of allows the readers to digest what they just read. So like, I think what you've done here is good. It just needs to be like merged together. Yeah, and that's just a good way to, obviously you don't need every scene to always have it like a scene sequel, but when you have a scene that's very like important or a lot of information is thrown out, it's good to have take a breath and like let your character reflect. And like, they don't have to reiterate everything that happened in the last scene, but just have them like reflect and come to new conclusions. And I think you did in this one, where it lingers on like how he thought Dai was gonna kiss him, and then considering like, oh, is he gay, and then it moves on to like Eve's living situation. So yeah, I thought that was good. Keep doing that. I fixed it as you speak. Ah, thank you. Coolish all effect? I have not heard of that. Okay. Viewers derive more meaning from the interaction of two sequential shots than from a single shot in isolation. Yes, totally. Okay, so I have heard of that. Yes, exactly. Putting two images together can create meaning. Okay. Yes, and then as for the pacing of the following chapter, I liked the mystery. I definitely had a moment of like, is this Dai, or is this the character that Eve saved? Where I was like, I don't know. And I love the interaction between like Eve and his coworkers. I thought that was really cute. Good little comedy moment. And I enjoyed the reveal of like who's dropping off the gifts. I liked her little comment of like, "Oh, I've been caught." I thought that was cute. And fun. It also, I feel like it works really well for like a journalist character who is like, like setting up a little tiny mystery for him. I thought that was fun. I wanted to seem like she wanted to get caught. Yeah, I kind of got that vibe where like she wasn't being like subtle about it. Yeah, where it felt very like set up. I would agree. Something you could do is, it depends on how you, if it would mess up the pacing of like the rest of your chapters, because I don't know, like, you know, the next step that you're going to exactly. But I might end this chapter with a little bit more information than just Eve going off with like the card of gifts. Maybe showing the location that he's gone to. You know, it might be a place we recognize. Maybe it won't be. Maybe you're setting up something new. I don't know where you're going with it, but yeah, I think that would be a bit more of like a powerful ending to kind of show a glimpse of like where he's going. Yeah, exactly, and you can kind of like expand it a little bit. But yeah, I thought, yeah, fun mystery, cute character interaction. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, and I like the characterization of Eve, where like he comes across as like, obviously he's struggling with money, but he definitely has this thing about like appearances where he feels like on the inside he's a bit of a mess, and then on the outside he's like all sparkly and clean. There's some interesting stuff going on there, like character-wise. Anyways. Yeah. And I think there were lots of really nice shots going on in this. Like, I really like the use of like the shadow looking at the refrigerator. I love the scene where Eve finds the first package and it's like, oh gosh, sorry. It's like from below and there's like sparkles coming up. It's a nice reveal. Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed this chapter. I thought it was well paced. You tell me things I didn't realize. I thought that's what you were going for. Where like, because it feels like, because his love interest is a character who seems like very wealthy and well put together, and like, because it feels like they both have like appearances that they put on. And I feel like, because like with any romance, you want characters that kind of like fill the needs of each other. The way I've heard it described is like braiding roses, where like they have thorns, so like it's easy that their flaws can like poke at each other and cause friction. But they also complement each other, so you can wrap them together without the thorns like pricking each other, and they kind of go well together. Anyways, I definitely planned that. Yeah, exactly. See, that's the thing. Sometimes you'll write stuff and you won't realize what you're putting in like the subtext, and then at the end you're like, wow, I did that. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling from the characters, where they both put on appearances for different reasons, but like Eve seems to have where like what am I thinking here? Where Dai seems very like established and could definitely help Eve kind of lift Eve up in the world, and provide for like his basic needs. Whereas like I feel like Eve seems a lot more sensitive and sweet than Dai, and could maybe help him emotionally. Obviously, I don't know where your story is going, so this is just me speculating on what I think is happening. But yeah, but they both have this like their flaw seems to be very much like putting on appearances. I'm not sure about Dai because I've only seen one scene with him, but with Eve, it's very much like seems to put on a very polished persona, even when he's struggling. I've been fudging their personalities from the beginning. Well, I think visually you channel a good sense of their personalities. So I think you're good. Anyways, I'm rambling. Did you have any questions? Or is there anything I didn't cover that you were wondering about?
Here to taunt you.
Oh, jeez. I'm sorry. He gave me food. How dare you? How dare he give me delicious food that I can't eat because I'm on stream? I'm working. I'm giving the people what they want, Bones. I can't stop. Oh, loud. Hey, Sammy. How are ya? I wonder if you, the reader, are curious about the response to his report. The response to the report. Eat, we won't tell them yet. Thank you. Thank you. Where is the response? I think I missed this. Is it in chapter 5? He hasn't reacted to it yet. Oh, you mean not his response to the report, the response of readers, like the readers of their publication. I am curious about it. I think part of the problem is like because it has been a while since I read the early chapters, but is it going to be scandalous? You may need to, I mean, again, this could be just me forgetting things between reading chapters, but it could be useful to you to kind of hang a signpost on, like, I feel like you did and I just missed it, but hang a signpost saying, like, getting this information will be scandalous. I know, like, Eve is, like, it's, like, a really important interview for him. I'm a bad reader. Right. He's a bit of a jerk to reporters. But he was nice to Eve. Okay. I am curious. I feel like, yeah, I think it would be helpful to just kind of like say outright the way Eve maybe expects the piece to go. Saying like, this could be scandalous. Like, it's weird how he acted, or like you could have a scene where he's showing it to his editor or his coworkers and they're like, oh, it's a good one for the first reporter. Oh, okay. Is it gonna, because it depends on what you want to set up. Because you could set up like, he has a good response and then is there gonna be gossip about Dai or Eve or, yeah, I'm not sure. Because I don't want to tell you how to make your story because I don't know what you're planning. But I think there's like plenty of ways you could go forward with it, where it could be it goes well, but then a new scandal is created because they're like, oh, who's this reporter that got all close with Dai, and like, what does this mean? And like, or you have a second reporter come and, you know, people come and flock to Dai to get more interviews, and he won't talk to any of them, and like it creates drama. Like it totally depends on where you want to go with it. Or maybe Dai reads it and he's annoyed that how the piece went, and then he's angry at the publication. Like, yeah, it totally depends on what you want to do with it. Yeah, it could help to have characters speculate on it if you want readers to be curious about how it's gonna go. Because like, yeah, because it's exposition that we're not privy to unless you say it, where it's like, I'm stealing it. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, it totally depends. Because, yeah, it helps to say, like, oh, getting this out will be scandalous. Or, like, yeah, oh, this is weird of how he behaved. Like, I wonder how our readers are going to react. Yeah, just having people kind of, like, point it out to us so that we're thinking about it. And having characters discuss, like, possible conflicts. But anyways, yeah, totally depends on where you're going with it. Did you have any other questions? Anything I missed? I love dodecahedron. Yes, exactly. No, ma'am. Awesome. Well, thank you for submitting. Cool. So that's all our friends who did it. Thanks, guys. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go. Our next stream is on Saturday. For our Patreon folks, make sure you submit your stuff by end of day tomorrow, and we'll see you later.